Hello friends, and welcome to Sustainable Prepping, your home for fear-free emergency preparedness and a sustainable life. My name is Brecky, and today I'm taking you on a tour of our micro homestead, our backyard. We live in the center of a very small town, rural West Virginia. Our town is less than 7,000 people, and so it's quite small. You can see all the junk on my porch. We got a lot of projects. I've got some babies. Whoop, whoop, whoop. You can kind of see them over there playing. We've got a really pretty day, and I want to show you what it looks like now before we really are getting our big first planting done in our micro homestead garden. So I've got some little helpers. You want to say hi?
Hi.
Hi. Hi. We're going to show them the garden. You ready?
I want to hold it.
You want to hold it? Okay, well, we'll see about that. All right, so this is the mess that we are starting to clean up. As you can see, all the shreds from shredded paper that we had as mulch, and then on our two compost piles here, I gotta move that. The girls were playing in it yesterday. All of this stuff is gonna get moved because we have to mow, but before we mow, I wanted to show you a little bit about what we've got going on. Here is a giant dandelion patch. Yes, you might call these weeds. I call them medicine. So we are gonna harvest quite a few of these. I've left them to bloom for our pollinators, so I intentionally did not mess with any of our weeds. I'll tell you what those buckets are in a second. So we've got dandelions all over there. In fact, there were tons of blooms here about a week ago that have already had pollinators and have kind of withered. So we're gonna harvest these dandelions and get going. But I wanted to give you a little bit of a sense. Ooh. Hi there. Seriously, why are toddlers so loud? So this is our backyard, okay? I don't know the actual dimensions, but this is about a standard sort of very urban backyard, and it's not very big. It is limited. Okay, we had to have a pause to get some berries. So what I wanted to say really is just that we are working with a very, very limited backyard space. If I was gonna make a guess, my guess would be that the backyard was, gosh, maybe 50 by 30, maybe 60 by 30. It's not huge, but we are making it work. And this is the major in-ground garden here. And I'm going to take you on a tour of what we got. I'll take you on a tour of our two raised beds and our buckets and what we're planning on for this year and how we're continuing to grow, and how really you don't have to have 20 acres to homestead. You can have a micro urban style homestead. I actually don't live urban. I mean, I live in the middle of a small town, but you drive 2 miles, less than 2 miles, and you're in farmland. So you don't have to have a big property to become a little bit more sustainable, to be growing, to become a producer and not just a consumer. So let me take you along and show you what we got going on. All right, friends, this is raw and unfiltered. So this is our wild dandelion patch that we're gonna harvest today. But I wanna show you that I have toddlers. This was supposed to be buckets of carrots that were going to be sitting here, and as you can see, right, they have been knocked over, unfortunately. This was done yesterday. I didn't know about until I got home from work, and then got knocked over again today. So this is our garlic. Now, we had about double the garlic planted, but I had helpers who were trying to weed with me and pulled several of the bulbs out. As you can see, like, there's some holes here. So this is what survived. Yeah, you can pluck some of that. That's fine. We're gonna harvest it in a minute. So this is our garlic patch from overwintering, and got a couple more weeks and then we'll harvest that. Over here, you can't really see it quite yet. They haven't started coming up, but I have planted, you can kind of see this line here. This is going to be onions. Okay, this is going to be spring onions. It's just been so cold that I had to wait for it to get a little bit warmer and not have so many frosts before I got them in the ground. Now you can see I've got to dig up these weeds. Thanks. But I'll keep taking you along and showing you what's in our space.
Mama.
Hold on, hun. So this line here is carrots. All carrots, and I'm not seeing much germination. Well, I see a little bit of germination here. They've only been in, please don't step on that, hun. Gosh, 2 or 3 days. So they haven't been in very long. These are our peas, and they're just not doing great. I have to tell you, I was expecting at least double this level of growth. They've been in the ground more than 2 weeks, maybe going on 3. And I was expecting double the growth. So I'm really unimpressed with these peas. And these are Baker Creek. These are early marble peas from Baker Creek, and I'm not
I
You did help with that, didn't you? Didn't you? You did. So over here, we're starting to see some growing here. You can see along this line. We have this one, I believe, is chard, and this other one, I believe, is lettuces. The girls helped me, so they kind of sprinkled them just about wherever, but I did try to have a line. Honey, I don't want you stepping on that. If you're gonna help, you gotta help.
Look, look.
Yeah, look, look. And so that's there. Now I had tried to use some weed cover. I don't know that it did very much, I'll be honest with you. I was not impressed. So I don't know that I'll be doing that again. Here is some cabbages, or actually, nope, that's not right. This is some cauliflower that got planted, and I'm not real pleased. I am not pleased at all with how it's turned out, unfortunately, so that might not make it and have to be replanted. This is cabbage, the first cabbage patch that we got going on over here, and again, it's looking a little peaky. I've been trying to keep it watered, but it's just not looking super hot. It needs to be watered again. We're supposed to get a bunch of rain this afternoon, but if it doesn't rain by about 4, I'm gonna water it. A lot of dandelions to harvest, okay? And that's all that we've really got going on in this part of the garden. As you can see, I tried to have the ground cover. It got pulled back about a week or so ago, and this is what's grown up since then. And it didn't really work, I'll be honest. It did not work at all. So don't think I'll be using it again. Honestly, don't think I'll be using it again. All right, let me show you what's in that back raised bed. Not much to report at the moment, but I do have some potatoes in here. And so there's a couple places where we might see a little something peeking through, but at this moment, not a lot. And I do plan, and as the potatoes grow, dumping more soil in here, which is one method. It's not the only method, but that's something we're gonna try and see how that works. Now, I'm gonna slowly take you around, and that's a rose bush. We're hoping will come back nice and strong. This was supposed to be a garage, but it's real shaky, so we just store stuff in it. We don't put our car there. This is not a huge growing space, but it's quite a bit for us. So once we harvest from all of the wild weeds, you might say, the wild foraging, we're gonna harvest from them and then dig quite a bit of it up. I've got some dead nettle here. There's quite a bit in our yard, purple nettle, dead nettle, and then, like I said, a lot of dandelions and some cat's paw, which isn't as good as dandelions, so I won't take that. I'll only take dandelions and use that for some medicinal stuff. We have to balance wanting a space for the kids to play and a space to grow food. So our plan will be some lower level things here, right? Carrots and greens and stuff, and then in this area gets the most sun over here. So there is where I'm gonna put tomatoes and bell peppers, and then I plan on having squash in this back section. Okay, so we're coming on to our fence line over here, and we got these beautiful buttercups. I hate to mow it all down, it's so pretty. I know I could be using it more efficiently, but it is beautiful. This is the one remaining raspberry cane. So we are renters, and the landlord was having a young man do our garden, like mow, and he kept mowing down raspberries. So this is the only one that survived. Right? It's the only one that survived, huh? Yeah. So that's the only one. We had 3 of them. We have 2 blueberries that we've got right now. There's this one. All right, and so moving over here, we've got blueberries. This is the only one of the 3 we planted last year to survive it all. Again, kept getting attacked by this very negligent landscape guy. He was a kid, like an 18-year-old, but still, he should have known better. And then this is the new one we just got, and we had tags on him, so he just didn't care. We fired him, actually, because of that. Anyway, and then we have our couple of buckets of potatoes. Now you might be thinking that's not enough, and you're right, but this is just from the potatoes that we had left over last year. This is not certified seed potatoes. It was an experiment to see if they would actually grow. And as you can see, I have 3 of the 5 buckets so far have signs of growth. So I'm gonna give them another couple days, and if I don't see growth in the others, then we will plant with new stuff. All right, then we got our strawberries here. Gotta figure out what we're gonna do with them, but they are looking mighty fine. And that's kind of this section. I'd hoped to have a lot more going on here and make it a whole fruit section, but it didn't really work out. And so that's really that section of the garden. Then we have our sort of playing area where the kids play. 1 second. And here is our first raised bed. This is our second cabbage section. So we've got cabbage and kale over here. This is the one of the shadiest areas. So the idea being that these will be able to grow through the heat of the summer. And then we have what was supposed to be a salad section, but the girls dumped tons of cilantro. So almost all of this that you see is cilantro, and hidden underneath the cilantro is some spinach. It's hidden underneath the cilantro. Oh, and some dead nettle that I'm gonna have to pull up. And then our thyme that we overwintered. But a lot of this is cilantro that my daughters grew handfuls of and just took seed. So this is gonna be cabbage and kale. This is gonna be cilantro and spinach and thyme, probably. I'm not gonna mess with it too much. And that was our first raised bed. If I were to do it over again, I wouldn't do a raised bed here, and I would probably just do a ton of raised beds in this section, primarily in this area, because this area is what gets the most sun. But you live and you learn, right? You live and you learn. So I'm going to take advantage of some of these weeds that have sprouted out totally randomly here, and I'm going to pluck all that dead nettle and see what I can make of it, and get some of the dandelions and use those before I dig up all the weeds. I know that some people hate having any weeds, that it's work to dig up weeds, and it's true, but you can use weeds. So if you have them, like we ended up with weeds, we didn't lay enough mulch, my mistake. We're gonna take that to our advantage. Friends, this was just a quick overview of what I am planning on doing. Now we are planning on, 10xing the number of potatoes we've got going on. We plan on doing a couple different kinds of squash. We're gonna do zucchini, we're gonna do cucumbers, we're gonna do tomatoes, bell peppers. We are going to, what else are we gonna do? We're gonna be doing some pumpkins, we're gonna be doing more herbs, and both culinary and medicinal. So we've got some plans. Yeah, we got some plans, but we also know that we have limitations. I don't want the whole backyard to be a growing space. We do want to have a place for the kids to play, so it's balancing that. I'd really love to get more fruit here, but fruit takes a long time to mature, and where we are right now in the world, I don't know if I want to wait on something that's going to take time to mature. Honey, mommy's holding this. So on that note, friends, comment down below and let me know, what are you doing? What are you doing in your space? What are you growing? What are you excited about? What kind of space do you have? Whoop! And if you had my space, if you had my growing space like that with my knocked over stuff and toddlers to think about, what would you grow? What would you grow? I'm in zone 5B, and I get about 50% shade here near the fence lines. If you have ideas, if you have suggestions, I am a upper level novice gardener. I've gardened enough to kind of know my ins and outs, but I would not call myself a super gardener by any means. I can certainly make things grow. I just can't always control how much and how well. So I'm still working on that. I'm excited to see where this goes this year. I'm excited to make use of our space. Remember, you don't have to have the perfect homestead to get started. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just got to make progress. Until the next video, happy prepping and gardening.